Hi, today we will explain the storyline of the movie Cleveland Abduction, released in 2015. Okay, let's get right to the story. Michelle Knight, a single mother, is struggling to provide a decent life for her only child, Joey, who is still young. She lives with her parents and tries to apply for a job at a laundry, but the female owner refuses to hire Michelle because she didn't graduate from high school. Every time Michelle leaves, she leaves Joey with her mother. However, when Michelle returns from a job interview, she sees Joey playing with her boyfriend's alcohol bottle. Her boyfriend tried to distract Michelle from Joey and accidentally pushed him too hard, resulting in Michelle having to take him to the hospital that night. At the hospital, the doctor who examined Joey saw several signs of physical abuse on his body. Michelle tried to convince the doctor that Joey had never been hit, but the doctor insisted she move to a safer place or social services would take custody of Joey. Sometime later, Michelle moved in with her cousin. She applied for many jobs and 3 responded to her applications. Michelle told her neighbor, Emily, that the custody hearing for Joey would take place in 2 weeks. The day of the court hearing arrived. She had asked her mother to take her there, considering that it was quite far, but her mother forgot about the appointment. Michelle panicked because she had to arrive on time or she would lose custody of her son. For that reason, she hurriedly changed her clothes and started walking without a clear direction. Confused, Michelle stopped at a mini-market to ask the cashier for directions to the address she was looking for, but the cashier also didn't know where it was. She was about to give up when a man told Michelle that he knew where the address was. Michelle recognized the man as Emily's father, but unfortunately the location was far away, about 45 minutes from the mini-market. Michelle grew even more confused because she had to arrive within 30 minutes. The man named Ariel offered her a ride, saying he could take her there in 10 minutes. At first, Michelle hesitated because she didn't want to bother him, but Ariel managed to convince her. She got into Ariel's truck. In the car, the man suddenly asked if Joey liked dogs, telling her that he had several puppies at home and would be happy to give one to Michelle if she wanted. He added that it would only take a few minutes to fetch it, and Michelle would arrive at the courthouse on time. Michelle politely declined, but she felt uneasy. After trusting that the man would take her there on time, she agreed to stop by Ariel's house briefly. When they arrived at Ariel's house, Michelle saw the mother dog outside. Ariel said he had locked the puppies upstairs so they wouldn't run away. Ariel showed her where the room was, which was quite secluded in his house. Michelle believed him and followed Ariel's instructions. She entered a room painted pink, but there were no puppies inside. Michelle asked where the dogs were, but Ariel immediately closed the door. Michelle suddenly tried to escape through the window, but Ariel rushed over and pushed her to the floor. Michelle struggled and begged not to be hurt, but Ariel told her to be quiet and not fight back. After that, Ariel tied Michelle's hands and feet and beat her to stop her from struggling. Ariel said he would keep Michelle there for a while, claiming he needed someone after his wife left him. Ariel searched Michelle's bag and looked into her wallet, shocked to discover she was 21 years old. He had thought she was 15. He then took Joey's photo and tore it up. Michelle begged him not to do that. But Ariel kicked Michelle and told her to be quiet. After that, he stuffed a cloth into Michelle's mouth and taped it shut. Not satisfied, Ariel showed her his gun and threatened to shoot Michelle if she made a move. Ariel then tied Michelle's body to a pulley and hoisted her up, leaving her hanging upside down. This position was extremely uncomfortable, causing Michelle to scream for help. After that, Ariel left Michelle in the room until nightfall. The next day, the police went to Michelle's mother's house to follow up on Michelle's disappearance. Michelle's mother said it was unusual for Michelle to leave without a word or skip court intentionally. She would have come unless something bad had happened to her. The police considered other possibilities, such as Michelle being too stressed by her situation to keep the appointment. Michelle's mother couldn't respond further, so the police asked her to contact them again if any new information arose. Meanwhile, Ariel visited Michelle, bringing her a burger. He forced Michelle to eat, believing she must be starving. After that, he untied Michelle's bonds and dragged her down to the basement, to the laundry room. Ariel threw Michelle onto the bed he had prepared, then quickly assaulted her. After doing that, Ariel sat Michelle down, then locked her in the laundry room, tied her up with chains, and put a helmet on her head. Ariel told Michelle that Emily had heard rumors that Michelle had abandoned Joey, that no one was looking for Michelle, and that Ariel felt he could do whatever he wanted to Michelle. That night, Ariel's mother came by to bring him dinner. They chatted on the terrace. Ariel didn't allow his mother to come inside. Hearing other voices, Michelle banged her head against the building's support beam and screamed for help with all her strength. She also tried to loosen the not-too-tight ropes binding her hands and remove the gag from her mouth. Ariel gently sent his mother away, then went down to the basement. Michelle quickly returned to her original position, but Ariel had already noticed her movements. He just chuckled and said he wasn't worried. He believed Michelle would get used to it. He then tightened the ropes binding Michelle's hands again and gave her the food his mother had brought. That night, Ariel practiced with his band in the living room. One of his friends noticed that Ariel seemed cheerful. Ariel said that his girlfriend made him happy. Ariel's friends thought it was normal. They continued practicing until they were done. Ariel molested Michelle again and beat her. He said he regretted doing it, but couldn't help himself. Ariel then shared that when he was a child, he had also been a victim of sexual abuse, but no one had defended him. Michelle held Ariel's hand to comfort him, sharing his concern about what had happened to him. However, Michelle said that Ariel shouldn't hurt others just because he had been hurt. She asked him to imagine if what had happened to him had happened to his daughter, Emily. Michelle felt Ariel was vulnerable, so she persuaded him to let her go. Michelle said that if Ariel let her go now, she wouldn't report it or tell anyone. She would claim it was an accident and that she had fainted. For a moment, Ariel accepted Michelle's idea, and Michelle thought he would let her go. Ariel then carried her upstairs, walked toward the front door, but then turned into another room. Ariel closed the window tightly with a board and nailed it shut. He said Michelle might be free by Christmas, so he also wrapped a chain around Michelle's body and locked it. However, as Christmas approached, Michelle's condition grew increasingly dire. Ariel didn't give her any clothes, and her body was covered in bruises. Michelle was freezing in the middle of the bed. Ariel brought the TV into Michelle's room and ranted about the lack of variety on the shows. On Christmas Eve, Emily and her cousins came over for dinner at Ariel's house. Emily tried to go up to her old room, but Ariel immediately stopped her. He said the room was empty. Ariel had already removed all of Emily's belongings. Hearing the commotion outside the room, Michelle tried to call for help, shaking the bed until it banged against the wall. Emily heard the noise, but her father said it was just the family dog. Ariel then turned the music up loud so no one would notice the banging. After everyone had left, Ariel approached Michelle in the room, telling her to obey his orders and not cause trouble. Without hesitation, he struck Michelle hard, knocking her unconscious. After being locked up for so long, Michelle longed for Joey so much that she hallucinated she was talking to him. Ariel heard Michelle's voice from outside and grew annoyed by it. One day, Ariel gave her a puppy, which made Michelle very happy. Ariel told her to make sure the puppy only defecated in the box. The next day, after sleeping with Michelle, Ariel said he had to go to work, but he forgot to lock Michelle's chain. Michelle hurriedly unlocked the chain, took the puppy, and then peeked out the window to make sure Ariel had really left. Unfortunately, when Michelle was almost at the front door, Ariel was still inside. He had suspected Michelle would try to escape, which enraged him. He flew into a rage because the woman he had chosen couldn't obey him as he expected. This time, he didn't just beat Michelle, he also made her watch as he killed the puppy. Several months later, Ariel brought home a new victim, a young woman named Amanda Berry. Ariel locked Amanda in the adjacent room connected directly to Michelle's room. Meanwhile, the news on TV was broadcasting the search for Amanda. Amanda asked how long Michelle had been held captive, and she cried when she heard that Michelle had been held captive for 9 months. Ariel heard their conversation and told them not to talk to each other, or he would shoot one of them. However, Michelle did not want to remain silent. She felt that Amanda had to cooperate with her to escape from Ariel's house. However, Amanda was still too afraid to break Ariel's rules and tried to ignore Michelle. Day after day, news about Amanda's disappearance was broadcasted on TV. One night, after abusing Amanda, Ariel moved to Michelle's room. He noticed Michelle's swollen belly. Ariel grew furious upon realizing Michelle was pregnant with his child. He declared he didn't want a child and rushed to find a way to abort Michelle's pregnancy. Michelle tried to protect herself, but Ariel was too strong and struck her stomach. That night, she felt severe abdominal pain, and the fetus was aborted. The next day, Ariel said he would take Michelle out. He gave her clothes and a wig, but did not remove the chains from her ankles. Ariel needed help cutting a wooden plank in the backyard, and at that moment, Ariel's neighbor, an old man, came out of his house and saw the two of them. Michelle tried to signal him and ask him to call the police, but the man only stared at Michelle and walked away. Back in the room, Michelle told Amanda that they would soon be free. That night, she heard police sirens approaching the house. Her optimism rose and she waited for the police to raid Ariel's house. However, the police stopped at 2 houses next to Ariel's, and Michelle's smile immediately faded after the police car drove away. A few days later, Ariel brought a new victim, a teenage girl named Gina. That night, while Ariel was playing loud music, Michelle heard screams coming from another room. Michelle called out to Amanda, who immediately responded, but Michelle realized it wasn't Amanda's voice. On the same night, a woman living across the street from Ariel reported hearing loud noises, a woman's screams being drowned out by loud music. The woman wasn't sure where the noise was coming from, but she believed it was Ariel's house. The police who arrived doubted the woman's report, ignored her, and asked her to contact them again if she was sure of the source of the screams. The next day, news of the girl's disappearance was broadcasted on television. Ariel told Michelle that he had brought a friend for her, then took Michelle to the kitchen to meet Gina. Ariel told Gina to cut Michelle's hair very short, forbidding them to talk and warning them not to try to escape because he had installed alarms on all the doors and windows. After Ariel left, Michelle tried to talk to Gina, though she was initially afraid. Gina was shocked to hear that there were 3 women being held captive there. Soon after, Ariel returned and introduced Amanda to them. In the room, Gina told them how she met Ariel, saying she was friends with Ariel's other daughter, Leanne, so she thought Ariel was safe. Michelle listened with concern and encouraged Gina to stay strong because her family was waiting for her. Gina herself didn't know if she could escape, but Michelle asked her to believe that the 3 of them would definitely get out. A year passed, and Gina's parents commemorated the first anniversary of her disappearance with some people who sympathized with their loss. Ariel was also there, pretending to express his condolences to Gina's mother, even lighting a candle for her parents. Before they knew it, 3 years had passed without any significant progress in the case. Through the TV, Michelle and Gina received news that Amanda's father had passed away. The heartbreak from losing Amanda had taken a toll on his health, leading to a heart attack. Amanda heard the news from her room and burst into tears. A few nights later, Ariel invited everyone to have dinner together downstairs. Michelle thought this was another one of Ariel's tricks, but Ariel was serious. During dinner, Ariel announced that he was going to have a child with Amanda. Michelle was speechless upon hearing this. Ariel was certain the baby would be born early next year, but on Christmas Eve, Amanda screamed in pain. Ariel called Michelle in panic, not understanding why Amanda was giving birth prematurely. Michelle was the only one who had ever given birth and cared for a baby, so Ariel entrusted her with the responsibility of assisting Amanda during childbirth. He threatened to shoot her if the baby was born without a heartbeat. After struggling for her life, Amanda finally gave birth to the baby, but everyone panicked because the baby wasn't crying. Michelle performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and patted the baby's back until the baby finally cried. Amanda gave birth to a baby girl named Jocelyn, and Ariel looked proud as he held the baby happily. While Ariel celebrated his daughter's birthday every year, Michelle could only mournfully mark Joey's birthday. Now 13 years old, Michelle always drew numbers on paper to celebrate Joey's birthday and remember him in her own way. Jocelyn knew nothing about Michelle and Gina. She only saw them as her aunts. As Jocelyn grew older, she became more demanding. Ariel didn't allow her to play in the park with her aunts and mother, and she wasn't even allowed to tell anyone about them. Jocelyn kept pestering her father to answer her questions until Ariel couldn't take it anymore and snapped at Jocelyn. Of course, this drew a strong reaction from Amanda, Michelle, and Gina, and eventually Ariel told Amanda to teach her daughter to be quiet. One day, Ariel told Jocelyn that he was going to her grandmother's house to get food for everyone. Jocelyn told her mother that Ariel had just left and left the front door open, but the outer door was locked from the outside. Amanda immediately made sure that Ariel had really left, and after confirming this, she screamed for help as loud as she could through the door crack. The woman who lived across the street immediately ran over. Amanda said she was Amanda Berry, who had been held captive there for 10 years. The woman couldn't believe it because Amanda was reported dead. Then, more neighbors came to help them, broke down the door, and called the police. Michelle and Gina were in the room. They didn't know whose voices were outside. Michelle was still afraid it was Ariel trying to trick them. So Michelle hid in another room until the police found her. Michelle couldn't believe it was really the police. She called Gina and told her to come out. One of the police officers was stunned to see Gina, whom they had been searching for over 9 years. They were all taken to the hospital, and Michelle requested that only a female doctor treat her. The next day, Michelle said she wanted to meet Joey, but she didn't know where he was living now. After a few days in the hospital, Michelle saw on TV that the police had arrested Ariel. Finally, Michelle was ready to go home, and she got a comfortable and spacious apartment. A few days later, the detective informed Michelle that Joey's foster parents would not allow her to see him under any circumstances. However, Joey's parents' lawyer was willing to talk to Michelle. Even so, Michelle did not immediately agree. She needed time to think. After a few days, Michelle decided she would let Joey go. Now, she was ready to move on with her life.